On Kisses and Hugs Club today for singles and couples. Episode 70. Threads of Love Between Chidi and Adama. A romantic journey. In a land rich with lush forests and golden savannas, there existed a small village called Awawa. This village was known for its wise elders and strong traditions. Among the villagers lived two young people, Chidi and Adama, who were deeply in love and had recently pledged their lives to each other in marriage. But their journey to this point was filled with the magic of a timeless romance. Chidi and Adama first met in their early 20s during the annual Festival of the Harvest, a grand celebration that brought together villagers from near and far to honor the bounty of the land. The festival was a time of music, dance, and vibrant colors, and it was the perfect setting for new beginnings. Adama was known for her grace and beauty. She moved through the festival with a natural elegance, her laughter like the tinkling of bells. She had a gift for weaving intricate patterns into the traditional cloth, a skill that was admired by many. Her creations were often the centerpiece of the festival's market, drawing the attention of everyone who passed by. Chidi, on the other hand, was a skilled drummer whose rhythms could make even the most stoic elder tap their feet. His music was the heartbeat of the festival, bringing joy and energy to all who heard it. He was also known for his kindness and strength, often helping elders with their burdens and sharing stories that captivated listeners. It was during one of Chidi's performances that Adama first noticed him. Drawn by the powerful beats of his drum, she found herself moving closer to the stage. As she watched, she was mesmerized by the way his hands danced over the drum, creating a rhythm that seemed to speak directly to her soul. Chidi, catching sight of Adama in the crowd, was equally captivated. Her presence seemed to illuminate the space around her, and he found himself playing with even greater passion, hoping to catch her attention. As their eyes met, there was an unspoken connection, a spark that both felt instantly. Later that evening, as the festival continued under the light of a full moon, Chidi gathered his courage and approached Adama. He found her at her stall, surrounded by admirers of her beautiful cloth. Waiting for a moment when she was free, he stepped forward and introduced himself. "Your work is as beautiful as your smile," Chidi said, his voice warm and genuine. "I am Chidi, the drummer you saw earlier. May I know your name?" Adama blushed at the compliment, her heart fluttering. "I am Adama," she replied, her voice soft but steady. "Your music is truly enchanting. It felt like it was calling out to me." They spent the rest of the evening talking, sharing stories of their lives and dreams. Chidi spoke of his love for music and how he hoped to one day teach the children of the village to play the drums. Adama shared her passion for weaving and her dream of opening a school to teach young girls the art of creating beautiful cloth. As the night went on, they discovered more and more about each other, finding that they shared many values and aspirations. They both believed in the importance of community, the wisdom of the elders, and the beauty of their traditions. By the time the festival ended, they knew that their meeting was the beginning of something special. Over the following months, Chidi and Adama grew closer, their bond deepening with each passing day. They spent countless hours together, exploring the village and its surrounding landscapes, learning from each other, and supporting each other's dreams. Chidi would often play his drum as Adama worked on her loom, their creative energies blending into a harmonious rhythm. They laughed, they dreamed, and they fell in love under the watchful eyes of the village. When the time came for Chidi to ask for Adama's hand in marriage, he did so with a heart full of love and respect. He approached her family with gifts and a promise to honor and cherish her. Adama's family, seeing the love and sincerity in Chidi's eyes, gladly gave their blessing. Chidi and Adama's marriage was not just a union of love but a sacred covenant, blessed by the village elders. They were reminded constantly of the responsibilities and the sacred bond they had entered into, a bond that was watched over by the Spirit of God. One evening, as the village gathered around the central fire for the midweek teachings, the village elder, Baba Kwame, stood up to speak. He spoke of the covenant, a deep and unbreakable bond, much like the one between God and the people of Awawa. His words carried the wisdom of ages and resonated deeply with Chidi and Adama. Children of Awawa, Baba Kwame began, marriage is not just a union of two hearts but a sacred covenant witnessed by God. Just as God promised never to abandon us and to do good for us always, so must we honor and cherish our spouse. As Baba Kwame spoke, he shared the ancient words of the covenant. And I will give them one heart and one purpose, to worship me forever, for their own good and for the good of all their descendants. And I will make an everlasting covenant with them. I will never stop doing good for them. I will put a desire in their hearts to worship me, and they will never leave me. I will find joy doing good for them and will faithfully and wholeheartedly replant them in this land. These words were etched into the hearts of Chidi and Adama. They understood that their marriage was not just about them but a reflection of the greater covenant with the Spirit of God. However, despite their best intentions, Chidi and Adama faced challenges that tested their bond. Chidi's pride and Adama's stubbornness often clashed, like the relentless buzzing of mosquitoes. Their frequent fights led to strife, and in her frustration, Adama began to seek solace in the company of other men. Adama hid these friendships from Chidi, finding a dangerous comfort in the attention of a particular man who persistently pursued her. As their fights grew more intense, Adama found herself on the brink of making a grave mistake. One day, as their argument reached a boiling point, Adama decided she could no longer bear the tension. She planned to meet this persistent man at the village guest house, seeking an escape from her troubles. As Adama walked towards the guest house, her heart heavy with conflicting emotions, a small child appeared before her. The child, with innocent eyes and a gentle voice, began to tell her a story. "Do you know the story of Bathsheba and David?" the child asked. Adama shook her head, and the child continued. "Long ago, in the great kingdom of Awawa, there was a beautiful woman named Shiwa. Her beauty was known throughout the land, and she was married to a brave warrior named Ogunmola. One evening, as Shiwa bathed in the river, she was seen by King Ademola, who was resting on the rooftop of his palace. King Ademola was struck by her beauty and desired her deeply, despite knowing she was married. He sent his messengers to bring her to his palace. Shiwa, out of fear and respect for the king, went to the palace. King Ademola pursued her, and they committed a great sin. The consequences of their actions brought great sorrow. Ogunmola, unaware of what had happened, was sent to the front line of the fiercest battle on King Ademola's orders, and he fell bravely in combat. King Ademola's heart was heavy with guilt and sorrow. The Spirit of God sent the prophet Namdi to confront the king, revealing the gravity of his sin and the pain it had caused. King Ademola repented deeply, realizing the depth of his wrongdoing. He sought forgiveness from the God and from his people, and he dedicated the rest of his life to serving with humility and righteousness. Shiwa, too, turned back to the path of righteousness, seeking forgiveness and living a life of virtue and devotion. Their story, one of great sin and greater redemption, reminds us that we must always turn back to the path of righteousness, no matter how far we have strayed. Adama felt a shiver run down her spine. The child's words struck her heart, and she realized that the Spirit of God was speaking to her through this innocent messenger. Tears welled up in her eyes as she understood the gravity of what she was about to do. With a newfound clarity, Adama turned back from the guest house and hurried home. She knew she had to make things right with Chidi, She needed to confess her near mistake and seek his forgiveness. When Adama reached their home, she found Chidi sitting alone, his head in his hands. She took a deep breath and began to speak, her voice trembling with emotion. "Chidi, I have been wrong. In my anger and frustration, I almost made a terrible mistake. I was about to betray our sacred covenant, but the Spirit of God intervened through the words of a child, and I realized how wrong I was." Chidi looked up, his eyes filled with a mixture of relief and pain. "Adama, I have also been wrong. My pride and stubbornness have hurt you, but we must remember the covenant we made, not just with each other, but with the Spirit of God." Together, Chidi and Adama knelt and prayed, seeking forgiveness and strength. They vowed to honor their marriage as a sacred covenant, to communicate openly and support each other. They knew their journey would not be easy, but with the Spirit of God's guidance, they could overcome any challenge. Chidi and Adama's renewed dedication to their covenant brought blessings not just to their lives but to the entire village. Their story of redemption and faithfulness was passed down through generations, teaching the importance of honoring the sacred bonds of marriage and the covenant with the Spirit of God. May the Spirit of God grant us understanding and the strength to uphold our sacred covenants. This story was conceived by Pastor Sophia Okunowo and developed by Pastor Dunamis Okunowo, your favorite relationship and marriage counselors and therapists. Don't keep this life-changing story to yourself. Share it with your friends, family, and social networks. Let's spread the love and build a community of thriving relationships.
Do you want more? Read the full blog by clicking on the link in bio or description to navigate to the devotionals, or go to www.kissesandhugs.org. Watch full video on youtube.com/@PastorDunamis. For one-on-one therapy, counseling, or an intervention in your marriage or relationship, go to bit.ly/therapy needed. To get courses for singles and couples, go to bit.ly/course. To partner with us, go to www.kissesandhugs.org/give.